GNT show is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. These are the voyages of the GNT show. Our continuing mission to explore Star Trek storytelling, to seek out new worlds and interesting characters, to Boliga, where no show has gone before. Live long and prosper, bitches.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the GNT Show, episode 263. I'm Terry Lynn, and the man across the way is Gettysburg 7.
Joe Lantrue, and there she is across the table from me. It is Terry Brady. Nice to see you, Terry.
Marsha.
And, of course, her sister is here with us all, Jessica Brady.
If I wear this wig, will people like me?
This is my boyfriend, George Glass. George Glass, yes. And, of course, also joining us, it's Ceridian Brady.
Kapla?
He's wearing the Johnny Bravo jacket, because he likes the jacket.
Actually, Mike, what you need to do is put your teeth together and say pork chops and applesauce.
Pork
really swell.
chop and applesauce.
Do you know that was like the secondary story, but that's the part of it everybody remembers from that episode?
It was so funny.
It was.
Pork chops and applesauce.
And of course, we have the older brother with us. It's Alan Brady.
Oh.
Not to be confused with Alan Brady from the Alan Brady Show, the Dick Van Dyke Show.
He's plugging back in. He just brought me coffee.
We've
I love
gone
him.
meta, folks.
Yes.
Totally
It's
meta.
really Alan Brady. It's very meta. Somebody get Robin here. And of course, we have with us this week the young annoying brother. It's Steve Brady.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve. Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much for being so patient. I'm sorry that my microphone didn't work this morning. The Windows update had other things to say about my Yeti, but we told it to chill out. So it's all fixed.
I think my favorite episode of our show so far is the one where Alan got to meet Ken Dryden.
It's the walnut episode, walnuts in the closet episode. Come on.
No. That was the greatest sitcom ever, the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah, right.
Ken Dryden.
Oh,
was
we're
on
talking
the
about
Brady
Mary
Bunch.
Tyler Moore, right?
No, Brady Bunch.
Wait a minute. Oh, Ken Dryden. Sorry, you were
First baseman for the Dodgers. All right, how about if I
Yes.
go with when he got to meet Joe Namath?
Dryden. What are you talking about, Dryden? Really? Is that who it was?
Yeah,
Oh, jeez.
I know, right?
Jeez. Yeah, no kidding. My brain just, I always thought it was somebody else.
Steve Harvey? No, he was on every other show ever. Not Steve Harvey.
Not Steve Harvey.
Harvey.
Oh, Steve Harvey.
Garvey.
Steve Harvey.
Different person.
I know. I'm laughing too because that would have been a really amazing show.
Can you imagine Steve Harvey playing baseball? With that smile.
Sitting around and pretty much just telling everybody else to be more feminine. Sorry, I
Oh my
don't.
God.
Can you tell? I don't. Yes, we have, Mr. Kojiro Vance. You were so kindly. Are you there, sweetheart?
I'm here. I just couldn't tell if you guys had started or not. I was getting
Yeah, I was
coffee
doing the
for-
introductions, and you were the Peter Brady of the Greg Brady of the Brady Bunch.
It was Alan Brady.
Yeah, you were the Alan Brady.
I'm Alan Brady. Now we're really going back to an old reference.
Right. And that's what started this whole conversation. And then we started to talk
Ah.
about the Dodgers first baseman. And then
I'm having deja vu.
and then he said something about Steve Harvey because he couldn't
I
remember.
meant to say Steve Garvey, and I said Steve Harvey.
Now batting, Steve Harvey.
And we've got Cedric the Entertainer on deck.
Oh.
And CeeLo Green is batting cleanup.
Nice.
Well done.
Oh. Well, good morning. I think that everybody in the chat room pretty much knows what you guys did this week.
Probably because we've been talking
Because
for
we
the
started
last
an hour late. But yes, we do need to welcome Janet. We did. Janet was welcome.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, she was Jan Brady,
Ah,
or actually I was, and she was Marcia.
I'm not sure.
Marsha.
It's very confusing.
No kidding.
Oh, my nose.
Jessica.
you know, I had a
Okay.
brush with Marsha Brady once.
We did at
Yeah.
Cost Plus, as a matter of
At
fact.
Cost Plus in Westlake, California. She was standing
All
in front of
right.
me, and I kept looking at her, going, "God, that looks like Maureen McCormick, who's the actress, right?" And
Right.
I kept thinking, "Wow, she's shorter than I expected," but I can't tell if it's really her. And then when she paid with her credit card, I kind of looked over, and it was her name on the credit card. And I'm like, "Wow, I'm standing next to Marsha Brady."
And she was super short.
Is
She
she
was really,
really?
she was
She's
much
really-
shorter than I expected.
I'm
She was like 5'2".
Yeah, she might be 5'2".
Huh.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was.
And you know
she was
what?
teeny
She
tiny
was-
little thing.
And you know what? She was so nice and sweet. She was,
And
smiling
beautiful.
at people. Nobody was like really recognizing her,
No,
but I
it's
mean, she
Westlake.
was just pleasant and nice, and
Yeah. I feel
was
bad
fun.
because there's a commercial for like some hair restoration thing where, they to replace your hair with your pubic hair or whatever, and Christopher Knight is in it talking about
Yeah.
it, and I'm like,
Aw.
really?
Well, does his hair look good now?
Oh, it looks phenomenal. I mean,
Well,
it looks
then, yeah.
luxurious.
Then good for him.
and very curly.
Very curly. Very.
A little wiry.
Stop before we get in trouble,
Oh,
Yeah.
so bad.
because
Well,
I actually stopped myself from making a
I
joke. So that tells you something.
let's get to some. I actually want to get to some G&T show and some busy little beaver news. While we can, while we remember.
I have something to say. Announcements.
The O Sports Show actually has a new a new episode out called Steven is Going Bowling.
They have 2 episodes.
Oh, they do. Look at that, number 23 too, called Shoe In. You can listen to both of them now at osportshow.com and give the gang your support.
Or our support.
I love it.
Somebody's support.
Yeah, your
That's
support.
my
damn
support
it.
bra,
And then we do have one big new episode out for Semantic Shenanigans, or is it a
yeah.
blog?
Is it
Oh, yeah.
long or is it
Those are
thick?
blogs.
Those are
Many,
blogs.
many blogs. We are recording our next show on Monday.
Well, I know it's a lot of news, so let's just get talking to
It's
it
a shame
now.
you guys won't have anything to talk about.
I know, really. The segue into Semantic Shenanigans begins now.
Uh-oh, you're in trouble. Semantic Shenanigans.
There was
Record.
the motion for summary judgment, the replies that have come out. What's come out since last week, though, is the motions in limine.
Yes, the limine fresh motions. A motion in limine is basically it's a motion to try to exclude certain items from evidence, and that includes testimony. So you'll use like a deposition testimony in an effort to exclude witnesses. And there's also an attempt to discredit some potential expert witnesses as well. So lots and lots of motions. No
It's-
lie, 24 of these damn things.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in real quick and kind of go back to the basics real quick for our listeners who may not know what a motion in limine is. The best way for me to explain a motion in limine to lay people, and when I do my own presentations on the demystification of the litigation process, believe it or not, that's the name of my presentation. A motion in limine is what happens when both sides and the court, instead of waiting until trial starts to clarify what can be presented, what can be said, and what can't be said and can't be presented, instead of doing all of this or making the jury step out and not listen because you don't want them to be biased as to what is being argued about, they clarify all of that before trial starts. So both sides are asked to present their briefs to the court to say, this is what we want to be able to present, and this is what we want to keep the other side from presenting. And both sides get their shot at it. The judge makes those clarifications and those rulings before trial ever starts. So the ground rules for it's kind of like laying the ground rules before the duel begins. And then everybody has to adhere to those rules. And if they don't, they can get slapped on the wrist. All right, go.
Yes.
But I know. Here's a question I have.
Sure.
So asking the judge to not allow someone's testimony because he doesn't like Cupcake, isn't that just fucking reaching? Like, really reaching?
Yeah, that's not going to fly. Because the remedy for to give a little background to people who are listening, the one of the motions in limine was to try to from the defense side, and I haven't blogged about those yet, so bear with me. But the one of the motions was to exclude the testimony of Christian Gossett and Terry McIntosh because of a perceived vendetta against defendant Peters. And whether that's true or not, regardless of whatever their personal feelings may be about the man, the bottom line is that excluding the testimony really doesn't do anybody any good. It doesn't even do the defense any good when you get right down to it, because it's a much better strategy to get the information out there and then discredit them in cross-examination. Because a jury will, if a jury sees all these names and then doesn't hear from these people and knows that these people are still alive and could potentially testify, then the jury's going to really wonder what the hell's going on and why those people aren't being allowed to talk. And they're going to make whatever the hell they want to out of whole cloth, regardless of whatever the judge tells them. It's not that they don't care. It's not that they don't listen to instructions. It's not that they have their own ideas about the case or prejudiced against anybody. It's that this is human nature. When you don't have something, when there's a vacuum, an information vacuum, we have a tendency to fill it. So a better strategy for the defense, I would say, would be to allow the testimony and then discredit them being cross. Now, that having been said, I think Ms. Ranahan is trying to exclude as much stuff as possible because she kind of has to. I mean, yes, it's I do think it's kind of a waste of time, but she still kind of has to do it because we are protecting a record for appeal. I think that they are well aware that they're not going to win at this stage. So what they're hoping for is to have a nice big fat record for appeal that they hope to get in front of the Ninth Circuit and then see what happens, because the Ninth Circuit also is rather liberal. So they're really hoping that that's what's going to do it for them. I think the Ninth Circuit is also going to look at this case and say, yeah, I don't think so.
I was going to say the Ninth Circuit's liberal, but they're not that liberal. I mean, really.
Yeah, and furthermore,
they do actually read the case law you cite in your appeals. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
Of course they do. I mean, this is not just, we're not just here for political purposes. I mean, they're judges and they have to read the law and whatnot. But it's also...
Wait a minute, Wikipedia is not a valid legal source?
I know, wacky stuff like that. But it's also that, no matter how liberal you may be, I'm certain that they are well aware that these are two of the largest employers in the state of California, and that there's an enormous industry that has grown up around intellectual property, and they're not about to undercut intellectual property in the way that defense wants them to, because if they did, they'd throw a few thousand people out of work, for one thing. I think they're not going to do that.
Yeah, and I don't think that they want to necessarily create something that's going to have to be legislated.
Yeah, or that the Supreme Court is going to have to step into. And a Supreme Court with only 8 people, where a conservative president is coming into office and is probably going to nominate a conservative, who will overrule whatever the hell they do anyway. Yeah, I think this is not going to happen.
Exactly. Because I can tell you right now, if there was something that, how do I say this? This may not be the case that Winston and Strawn wants to create that kind of appellate case now anyway, because if they do, they're going to be facing a very, very conservative and split Supreme Court, and also a very, very business-friendly legislature who can, at the turn of a moment, say, well, fuck you, we'll create a law to make you to make you. We'll tighten the laws. Seriously, this is what happens when you start to piss off the PACs. The PACs will pay for new law. So every time you start to push something, you may end up getting greater iron wristbands.
Well,
Just saying.
there's also another factor to this that I, unlike film factor Slow Lane, a job in thinking about this stuff. Let's say it went all the way up like that.
To the Supreme Court? Okay.
Mhm. Suddenly there's much greater media scrutiny on it. Your client and all of his social media postings and bullyings and financials and all of that, the Supreme Court reporters will look into all of that to see what this is all about. You're not going to have the most what's that word I'm looking for?
Comfortable.
No, not comfortable, not comfortable. The fuzzy
Positive?
slipper. No. Oh Christ! When your most not when something's harsh. I feel like I'm playing Pyramid now. Not when something's harsh, but when someone is
Gentle, kind, friendly.
yeah. You're not gonna have the best PR client out there. I mean, Larry Flint would be more.
I see what you're saying.
Because his bullying and the whole haters thing and the whole you disagree with me, you're a hater and blah blah, and all of his public social media stuff, which even if he's tried to delete it, there are certain people out there who track everything, would be shining in the light. You may not want to go for the ultimate because your client's the reality of who your client is would be disinfected in the daylight. And even if the case was won, he'd never work in Hollywood again for sure. Not that he's worked there now.
Yeah, I think that you don't like me. Hey, fine, hate me. That's it's no skin off my nose.
I was gonna
That's
say,
nice.
yeah,
Whatevs. You don't like Carlos Pedraza from Axa Monitor. I'm sure that he's not losing any sleep over that. You don't like Jody Wheeler. You don't like Michael Hinman. You don't like the rest of us. We're none of us are crying over this, but we are nothing compared to how the mainstream press that follows the United States Supreme Court is going to be when it comes to digging into your client's past. They're going to, they don't just know about the Wayback Machine, folks. They're going to be looking up every single nugget of social media, and your client has left a pixel trail, let's just say.
It's the juiciest trail ever.
He has littered the social media landscape with his pronouncements that are at best, in the most positive light imaginable, they are conflicting. They are conflicting.
And let me just say this. Hey, Cupcake, you running and, but continues is violating IP. That alone, I'm not a fan of like Trevor Noah, but I would love to see him get his hands on that. Your hypocrisy, because you're a douche. And you know what? I've kept from doing it, but I'm gonna say it. Cupcake. Oh, Cupcake, you are a slime ball in a sea of pus. You have zero self-awareness. You don't want Diana's testimony in there because she's your ex-girlfriend. Dude, you stuck your dick in it. You live with it, okay?
Oh, dude.
I'm sure that Miss Kingsbury has some very interesting things to say.
Well, no, seriously. You stuck your dick in it is metaphorical and accurate.
But
you
it has
made that decision.
But that has nothing. No, seriously,
they don't want her testimony because they say it would could be prejudicial.
Well, I mean, that's part of what I said it's like I rarely comment. You know me, I rarely comment in that Facebook page. Namely because sometimes I think things just get too personal, it crosses over. But in this case, I kind of laughed because they were like, I read the request from Winston and Strawn that they wanted a lot of these witnesses to be excluded because they would engender bias in the jury. And I'm thinking, okay, wait, all witnesses, regardless of the kind of case it is, engender some form of bias in the jury.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of the point?
It's kind of the point.
That's exactly the point. Yeah.
Thank you,
Otherwise,
Alan.
why
It's
have a
exactly
witness there?
So I kind of had to laugh about that and roll my eyes going, oh man, they really are just throwing spaghetti. They're throwing hard spaghetti at the wall.
Hard spaghetti. But
It's-
you know, it's like I said in that group, Your Honor, please don't listen to the spouse in this divorce case because they have a bias because the other spouse stole money from them, and you really shouldn't listen to them.
Wow.
Well, it's I can see where that is the request to exclude those witnesses is going to be I can't I have yet, to be honest with you, the only type of witnesses I've ever seen get stricken are ones that don't meet the Daubert rule. And again, that's an actual
Yes.
set of hurdles, a set of legal hurdles that have
The
to be jumped.
Dilbert rule?
Daubert.
Oh.
Daubert.
Daubert, Daubert rules. There is a set of rules that an expert has to jump to prove that he or she is actually an expert. And so witnesses get excluded all the time if they're expert witnesses that get excluded because they don't meet the Daubert rules. And I can see where that could happen in this case. Absolutely. I think experts will be stricken from this case easily because you have to prove those your experts meet those or achieve those baseline
Wait a minute, my
requirements
mom
by
waking
law.
me up to watch a TV show wouldn't qualify me as an expert?
Yeah, that's not going to reach
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's not gonna jump. But actual percipient witnesses or people who were involved in this, they're percipient witnesses. They have a right to testify.
Yeah. The link I just put in the chat room from Forensic Mag lays out how to qualify an expert witness in
Look
court.
at that.
And it's a really good, it's a very clear explanation of how to do that. And basically what they're talking about is they're in various layers in terms of expertise, because lay people, of course, you can talk about common sense and life experience. Then you've got technical stuff, folks who've got more
Right.
limited but very technical training, very concentrated.
Oh my God, look at that. Dalbert's right in there. That's so cool.
Yes, isn't it awesome? So the Daubert standard is it's basically about relevance of good science, but you can certainly extrapolate this to experts who are not specifically scientific. You know, if your case somehow centered around dog training, you could have a dog trainer in as an expert. They're not really a scientist, but they could be considered an expert.
Or, a Photoshop expert for something with a photograph.
Yes.
Yeah, nothing wrong with this. Nothing wrong with this. So what they're saying is whether the theory can be or has been tested, whether the theory has been subject to peer review and publication, the known and potential rate of error of the scientific technique, and whether the theory has received general acceptance in the scientific community. So what the Daubert standard basically is doing is trying to eliminate so-called these junk experts, quote unquote, and I'm using the word expert in quotation marks, who just sort of are throwing their crap against the wall and who have not gotten their theories peer reviewed. Obviously, dog training, you don't really have theories, they don't get peer reviewed. But if there's a generalized consensus on how they on their methodology,
Yep.
and if they've got education from somebody who's certified, if they've got experience,
if they've been employed in a certain capacity in a certain profession for a long time, that could go to lending credence to their testimony.
Mm-hmm. My father has testified on occasion as an expert. He's a retired electrical engineer. He comes to it because he hasn't done this in a long time, but when he was doing this, he had decades of experience in the field, a master's degree, and a professional engineering license. So you put all of those things together, although he really wasn't the kind of person who would put out, papers and whatnot because he was working in the field. He had all of these other things plus a ton of patents. You put all of those together and it's very easy to get qualified as an expert that way. He's got except for PhD level papers, he had every qualification you could have for an electrical engineering expert. He had no qualifications as a dog trainer, though. That's the other thing to keep in mind is that if somebody can be qualified as an expert in one way, it doesn't mean that they can be in another way.
Okay.
Well, it seems to me too that it works both ways too, because somebody could be have a doctorate in something and has done all of this empirical data and everything, but maybe lacks practical application. And that can also be disqualifying for an expert because you can know the theory, but not the practical part too. So it seems to me like it takes a lot of different angles to qualify an expert.
And that's actually in motion limiting number 10 from the plaintiffs. That is precisely how they're going after defense expert professor Henry Jenkins, because he
Leroy's
talks
brother?
about
Yeah.
Leroy's brother.
Henry Jenkins.
I'm going to pull this up in a second, but he talks about the use of a female captain and that it's unique. And the motion rips that one apart really quickly. Give me a second and I'll find it. Okay.
Well, my favorite thing
This
that I
is going to
read
be
this
fun.
week. My
What?
favorite thing that I read this week was, I am a current member of the Axanar fan group on Facebook. I have personal knowledge
So
of
am
the
I.
matter set forth herein, and if called as a witness, I could completely testify hereto. Exhibit 1 to my declaration is a true and correct copy of Facebook post I made on October 25th, and the 56 Axanar fan group responses made
What?
too.
Are you kidding?
Oh,
Yes.
Reese Watkins saying why he's an expert witness.
Yes, and so they're trying to qualify Mr. Watkins as an expert, and at the same time, I might add, they are also trying to disqualify John Van Sitters, who has been vice president of product at CBS for a decade. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes, these two things are being attempted by the defense at the same time.
Terry, listen to this. I am a fan of Star Trek. I saw the most recent film Star Trek Beyond in theaters, and I also purchased a collector's edition of Star Trek Beyond on pre-order. Prior to viewing Star Trek Beyond, I watched the fan film Prelude to Axanar. The fan film rekindled my interest in Star Trek franchise, and I purchased additional Star Trek licensed props and costumes following its release, including, but not limited to, A, the original series phaser, communicator, and tricorder, a Novos tunic, Blu-ray remasters. I specifically made these purchases worth several $100s because Prelude to Axanar rekindled my interest in the Star Trek franchise and would not have made these purchases but for watching the fan film. That's why he's declaring that he is an expert.
Wow.
I know what that's about.
What?
I know what that's about.
Really?
Yes, they're trying to
they're
undercut
trying to
the,
lay a
damages.
foundation that the fan film provided free advertising for Star Trek.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. All right. So I've got
Alan's
Jenkins here.
disgust.
I've got the Jenkins stuff. So Mr. Jenkins's report is 12 pages long. This is from page 10. And it is one of the exhibits for plaintiff's motion limiting number 10. This is on the Semantic Shenanigans blog, so the file itself is there. Feel free to download it. This stuff is a matter of public record. I paid for these documents. You are a member of the public. You have the right to know. You have the right to read this stuff, copy it, make pajama prints out of it if you like. I don't care. He says, and I quote, "We see a female commander who plays a decisive role in the battle in contrast to the promise of female equality that Star Trek producers have often failed to deliver upon," end quote. The response to this, the motion in limine, page 6 out of 9, is where they say, and I quote, "Professor Jenkins's second distinction is even more absurd. He remarks that seeing a female captain in Prelude to Axanar contrasts with the, quote, promise of female equality that Star Trek producers have often failed to deliver upon," end quote. Professor Jenkins is apparently unaware that plaintiffs produced a 7-season television series starring Kate Mulgrew in the lead role as the female captain of the titular starship Voyager. Jason Declaration, paragraph 3, exhibit 4. Thus, not only are Professor Jenkins's opinions lacking in any scientific or technical basis, they are uninformed and incorrect. Which goes to Ellen's point, which is Mr. Jenkins has a fantastic education. He's got a better education than I've got. Okay, fantastic, awesome, great respect for his educational level, but he's not informed as to this matter. What he's saying here is not really meaningful, and in particular, when he claims that the Axanar works are transformative, he's drawing a legal conclusion, which is completely outside of his level of expertise, and is not what they hired him for. By the way, even if they did hire him for that, it's not what you use an expert for.
This is fun. That's really
Yes.
I'm sorry. That's really fun.
It's fun in its absurdity.
Yeah, you're right.
It's very sad.
What was that, Steve? Did Steve
I
say
didn't
anything?
say anything.
Oh,
Oh.
did Mike?
No,
'Cause
it's me.
it was
All right.
you? Oh, hi.
Okay, later in the same page.
No.
in
I
the-
heard you, Alan. There was somebody behind you. Was it Mikey?
I haven't said anything.
Okay. Well,
Maybe-
There's
maybe
nobody
a cough.
behind me.
Okay.
There's a wall.
later in the same page, still the same motion. Quote, Professor Jenkins is unqualified to opine on transformativeness, as regards to fair use. The standard he uses is clearly erroneous, based on a lack of specialized knowledge, and would mislead the jury. Therefore, Professor Jenkins' opinions on transformativeness should be excluded from trial, end quote. I suspect what will happen is that maybe some of Jenkins's report will be allowed in, but it'll probably be really heavily redacted. If they allow it at all, it will be heavily redacted.
Yeah, possibly. And
Because for one thing, he talks a lot about fan vids, which are music videos made by recutting copyrighted material and then setting it to music, which is completely outside the purview of this case and has nothing to do with it.
Right.
So he kind of goes off, he goes way down this little primrose path, and it's completely irrelevant. So there's no reason to keep that stuff in there. So for his report, which is 12 pages long, I can see easily cutting like 8 or 9 pages out of this thing, and that guts it. It makes it kind of useless for the defense.
Anything else on motions in limine that you think that we should be aware of?
Nothing in particular. I mean, there's a lot of little things that are going back and forth. Some of these are going to be granted, some of these aren't, and some of these are going to be granted in part, just like with every other motion.
And both sides will claim victory, blah blah blah, and both sides will claim defeat, blah blah blah.
And
sorry, I get a little tired of the
the gamesmanship.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going back and forth, and which is annoying. But it's also because with the holidays are coming, I get the feeling what we're going to see is probably some real preliminary decisions on this stuff before the end of the year, and then the longer opinion we'll probably see later. That's only because we've got a big volume of stuff and the holidays are coming up. So I'm sure that Judge Klausner doesn't want to spend all his time when he should be with his family.
Yeah. Well, interesting. Mike, you said you had a question.
Well, it's not about the limiting stuff. I've been out of touch, obviously. But so, did the judge ever rule on the stuff from last week?
Not yet.
Okay.
Oh, on the motions for summary judgment? No, those haven't been ruled upon yet, to my knowledge.
Okay. I was just wondering because all of a sudden there's new discussion, and I wasn't aware of any that the last stuff was.
Yeah, well, just meeting their timelines.
Yeah, they were supposed to have oral arguments on it tomorrow, but those got canceled by the judge. And I think for damn good reason, because he's been over this stuff a million times, just like the rest of us have. So he didn't need to hear everybody say it yet again. And like I said, they're trying to clear their decks for the holiday, because a lot of the federal offices just plain are going to be closed. He couldn't work on this stuff even if he wanted to.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And also, to be honest with you, he didn't need to hear them orally argue everything that they've outlined in their briefs, when all he can do, and he can just as easily take it under submission from what they've outlined in their briefs and all the case law they've outlined in their briefs, and he can go through it all on his own. He doesn't need to have people standing in front of him saying the same stuff that's in those documents. Also, he really doesn't want to cause a circus in his courtroom.
Yeah, it didn't. I think that he probably took one look at it and said, there's a lot of stuff here. I'm not going to get anything else out of it.
Right.
By them coming over to spout back the exact same stuff. Who cares?
Exactly. So I personally don't. When's trial?
January 31st, if the creek don't rise.
I don't expect rulings until maybe the first or second week of January.
Yeah, and about that time is when I believe there's one last where they have to really name their experts at that point. So it might be that he gets out at least a preliminary ruling on experts, so that those declarations will make some sense.
That's going to be interesting. Well, thank you, Miss Janet. I appreciate the update. It's going to be, again, a very interesting next couple of weeks once we get these rulings in. It should be very quiet until we do get those rulings. So, yay for you! And
yes,
we do.
I'm really happy to not be blogging about this every other day. I kid you not.
I know. And we can't, I don't think there's a way we'll ever be able to thank you enough for your constant, just patience with us and with this case and keeping us informed. The work that you've done has been extraordinary. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit. Mike, you want to just jump in? Is he back? Mike's here, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Do you want to jump up into some information or some unofficial productions?
Okay.
I made something Star Trek. Unofficial productions.
You got, it sounds to me like a wonderful little parody called A Wonderful Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, I believe it's from the gentleman or the person who had created the Picard Let It Snow or Make It So.
Oh,
Make
yeah,
It
that was
Snow.
fun.
Yeah, so this is in the same vein. I believe it's from the same person who created. It's a fun little thing.
That's cute. I wonder if he's going to do these every year. It's really fun. The link for that will be in the show notes, of course. Why are you guys talking about a challah menorah? Sounds good. Oh, challah. Then Comics Book News has is this Cosmic Book News? Okay, thank you. I apologize for mispronouncing that. There is an outline of what was wrong with Star Trek Beyond, which I think a lot of people already know about. I mean, if you want to dissect a movie, we're all pros at it. And you can read their breakdown on what was everything wrong with Star Trek Beyond.
It's a video, 17-minute video.
I apologize. I didn't mean to say read. I was going to say click and play. I apologize. It's right here in front of me, and I looked at it, saw it was a video, and still said read. Don't know why. We can move on to gaming news. Actually, you know what I want to do? I want to talk about television news because this week was some great news with some announcements that came out regarding casting. So, Mike, I'm going to let you talk about the Klingons.
About what?
The Klingons.
About what?
The Klingons. Yay! I'm so excited.
3 Klingons have been announced.
Yes. Are you okay, honey? Yes. The Klingons have been announced. Actually, 3 actors have been announced as being cast as Klingons in the new Star Trek Discovery. Okay.
Yep.
Mike, did you want to take it? Or
exciting casting.
I know.
I don't know these people. So
Oh, okay. Well, I don't
what is there
either.
for me to say? I don't know.
Okay.
I'm curious to see what they do. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm done.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I just thought that, I was trying to get you. The actors are Chris Obi, Shazad Latif, and Mary Chieffo, or Chieffo. I'm not sure how she pronounces that last name. Obi will play Tukuvma, a Klingon leader seeking to unite the Klingon houses. Obi is an interesting casting choice because he has a direct connection to the former Discovery showrunner Brian Fuller, as he does play the recurring character of Mr. Jaquel in Fuller's series American Gods. He also popped up in a 2011 episode of Doctor Who Closing Time, which featured the future late-night star James Corden in a guest starring role. Obi was also the Mirror Man in 2012's Snow White and the Huntsman. He just finished work on Ghost in the Shell, where he played Ambassador Kyoshi. Latif will star as Cole, the commanding officer of the Klingons, and Tukuvma's protege. Latif is best known as playing Dr. Jekyll in John Logan's Penny Dreadful. Alan, you've watched that show.
Yep.
These people sound like they're amazing actors. I mean, they're pulling from some great shows. He's currently still filming star-crossed for the ABC as Tybalt Capulet and recently Tybalt. Thank you. You are right. And the action thriller The Commuter with Liam Neeson and Patrick Wilson. And finally, Miss Chieffo will play Laurel, battle deck commander of the Klingon ship. Chieffo is an up-and-coming actress with a respectable indie film resume, including Shelby's Vacation, which will be released in July. She has a lot of stage work in her recent past as well. So they will join Michelle Yeoh, Anthony Rapp, and Doug Jones, as well as the new announcement that the lead actress in Star Trek Discovery has also been cast. And I'm very excited to say that that is Sonequa, and please, I hope I pronounced her name correctly, Sonequa Martin Green, who is most famous for her role in The Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah.
So to those of you,
this one I
Very exciting.
I was going to say, please, please, please jump in because I don't watch The Walking Dead.
she's a badass. She's a badass in Walking Dead, and I'm kind of curious. Does this mean are they gonna kill her off? Is she gonna do both shows? I don't know, but I'm gonna miss her in Walking Dead if that's the case. But nonetheless, I think this is exciting for Discovery. I am very pleased with this announcement. I'm kind of sad for Walking Dead though, but yeah, this is great.
She's still staying on Walking Dead. They don't shoot until the summer.
Yeah, I that's what I've heard too, but you never know.
Yeah, but then that's the same with that show anyway.
Well, it's going to be interesting if she is able to carry on both roles because they're beasties. But at the same time, they're also short season shows too, right? They're only 13 episodes per.
Well, they have 2 tracks. They have basically a summer and a fall.
The Walking Dead does?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's why. But however, they do it because they have such a big cast, and the cast often, or the characters often go on their own little adventures. So not every episode is she as it is. Not every character is in every single episode. So one week they'll follow her, next week they'll follow a couple other guys, or and we may only see her once per season. So that isn't unusual for The Walking Dead. So they can make it work if they want to. But yeah, there's about 20. I think there's about 20 episodes all in all in a year.
Well, I'm very excited about her being cast as the lead in Star Trek Discovery. Everybody knows, and with the information that we have right now, is that she's going to be playing a lieutenant commander on the ship, on the main ship. But her casting has also, as you can imagine, with the Star Trek fandom being what it is, given rise to some rumors and some speculation.
And some hate, which I've seen.
No. Really?
Why?
That never happens with Star Trek fans.
Why the hate? What have you seen, Mike? Be honest.
I'm trying to find the words. I had come across an article that was bemoaning Star Trek's diversity and how this one is the most diverse and therefore the most the crappiest in terms of the number of white people in it. And that was the whole angle, is the number of white people in this new series. And I'm like, oh, which just made me puke a little. And then I just got rid of the article because it was oh man,
because white people never get any opportunities in Hollywood.
Not at all,
particularly not if they're young, thin, and beautiful. Never ever happens. Oh, and straight too. Sorry, forgot about that.
Oh my God, I'm sorry to hear that, Mike. I would have felt the same way if I had read that. Yeah. I'm very, very excited. However, the speculation I was talking about was about the idea that maybe she's not human. Did you hear this rumor, Mike?
I did not.
A long time ago, Mr. Fuller had discussed one of his ideas for a new TV show that involved an undercover Klingon.
Oh, interesting.
And a lot of people are beginning to wonder whether or not that might be what we see from the lead character's point of view.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Why do you think that she's an undercover Klingon?
Let's face it, there's some people who are like, this would be a perfect way for them to introduce an undercover Klingon. Yes.
I think people are reaching.
I think so too, but I don't know. I love the idea of an undercover Klingon just because of Vanguard.
Yeah.
But what? Say it, because you're thinking it as well.
I don't know. What are you thinking? And I'll just say yeah.
All right. I'm thinking it because people are saying, oh, she's black. She'd be a great Klingon.
Okay, yes, I'm thinking the same thing.
Yep. And it'll be interesting.
That makes me groan. Come on, people.
Yeah, that's
I know. So again, it gives rise to speculation that may not and probably wouldn't have occurred if she had been white. But does it dismiss the idea as being bad?
No,
I don't know.
I think it's an interesting idea, but at the same time, it's. I at this point, I hope that it's not true, just because.
Yeah. People of color are always Klingons.
Yeah, and I don't like that stereotype.
I don't either. It's a we'll see. I mean, we'll see. It definitely did come up.
I love the fact that here's a woman of color in the lead, and
I want her to be
pleased.
human so bad.
You know, I'm pleased with that. I don't. Yeah. She doesn't need to be an undercover Klingon. I mean, she could be dealing with an undercover Klingon, but
that would be cool too.
But don't diminish her role. I think if they did that, it would be kind of diminishing it a little bit.
But here's the thing. Okay, and I need to take this one step further. Race aside,
okay.
Would it not be an interesting twist to have your lead character be somebody looking at the Federation from the outside in?
It would be, and knowing the actress, what she can do. Based on her work on Walking Dead, she can totally pull off being a Klingon as well.
Yeah,
I mean, she can do it. She's got the chops, and she would be awesome at it. And I would love to see her, but at the same time, it's like again, it comes down to the whole
I know.
It's one of those. It's one of those catch-22s. I mean.
Yep.
I love the idea, but at the same time, I hate.
Don't like the basis for it. Yep. Yeah. Again, it's all purely speculation. Everybody, this is stuff that the fans talk about. This is the stuff the fans talk about, and I have to say, I have to give the people who brought this one up a lot of credit because they brought it up as a concern. It wasn't like an assumption, oh, she's black, therefore. It was, oh, dear God, we're hearing this. And the conversation that occurred, it was actually on a different bulletin board that I follow. Actually, it had nothing to do with Star Trek. It was all about Lord of the Rings. And but the topic had come up and somebody had talked about this and about Fuller's previous mentioning, and they thought, gee, I'd really hate it. And then, but it ended up being quite an interesting conversation because of the race issue that did arise from it. And it was an adult conversation expressing the exact same concerns that we have today. And that was, gee, it would be really nice for us to just have somebody, a woman of color, just get a fucking role that doesn't come with a precursor of that other people of color always get, right?
Racist or species,
right? It would be nice. So again, we're all hoping that regardless that of what it is, that heck, I'm just happy she got the job. When it comes down to it, I'm just happy she got the job, and it's exciting for us to kind of get some information about what's coming up. And also,
I heart Sasha. That's the
is
role
that her
she
name?
plays in yeah.
How long has she been on The Walking Dead?
Since I think third season. So I think they're season 6-ish. So about 3 years, give or take.
Wow, cool. Well,
and in Walking Dead terms, I mean that's like longer than most anybody else. So yeah, it's. I guess she's overdue to die.
Is that the way it is? I'd have to assume.
Way. Yeah. It seems that way. But at the same time, in that show, it's like when there's a person of color, they're one of the first to die as well. So it's like, again, it's one of those things where I don't want to see her go.
I know. Well, maybe she won't. Like I said,
I hope she stays.
If they're short seasons and she wants to do,
I mean, depending on how it's scheduled, she can fit it in between the 2 seasons. It's possible. It's just whether or not both production companies are willing to work with her. I hope they are. I hope they can.
I hope so too. We need to move on. I'm going to get to, we need to jump through a lot of the gaming news pretty quickly.
I want to play a Star Trek game. Gaming news.
there is some information that came out from both Star Trek Online and Timelines this year or this week. So, and also Attack Wing, it looks like. So, Mikey, you can Star Trek Timelines. You can
Yes.
earn free crew spots or slots, and some more changes that are coming out in the next update, which already came out, correct?
The server update part of the update has gone live already.
Okay.
So you can buy extra crew slots now. You can earn free crew slots right now by participating in an event, which is just running your shuttle missions. If collectively, if we run 1.5 million shuttle missions, we get the 5 free crew slots. The new advanced cadet challenges have also gone live. It's a Sunday only cadet challenge, which the first one is now available, and the reward, I believe, is the what is it? The craft the R&D boost, the replicator fuel, I think is what it is. Let me check. I'm looking. So a lot of those features are on the server side or have all gone live, but I believe on the player side it's still ongoing. The faction shops, you can now purchase legendary or purple and gold quality officers. The PvP is back up. That went down for rebalancing on the commander level, so that's back up. They've made numerous crew changes, so a lot of this stuff is behind the scenes. But yeah, we're starting to see some of the stuff come up on the player side. So
when is it all expected to be kind of done?
1.6, I think, is supposed to release midweek next week.
Midweek next week, okay.
But a lot of those features are now available.
Okay, and they usually do their updates on like Tuesdays or Wednesdays, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. Then we're going to move over to Star Trek Online and talk to a couple of issues over there. First,
yes,
yeah,
I'm sad.
First, I am too, considering we talked about it last week and about how we were all looking forward to the 3D printing available to print your ship in Star Trek Online. The unfortunate news that 3D printing company that had contracted with Cryptic Studios to perform these functions has gone under.
They could not keep up with the potential demand. They couldn't scale to keep up. So that was the problem.
Really, really sad. It just goes to show how many the demand for this. It just goes to show the popularity of this idea.
There's two things going on. One is the popularity of the demand, like you said, but also the speed in which 3D printers are able to operate. If it takes 30 minutes to a couple hours to print something tiny, like 1 inch in size, imagine what it would take to print out a foot-long starship.
Yeah.
We're talking days at a time, and that's days where you're working on one thing only.
And that's got to be expensive.
Yeah,
I bet you they just didn't have the capacity and whether or not they were getting any kind of a return on their investment. That they probably weren't able to make it profitable.
Yeah, I mean, it would take most likely it would take a lot more printers than what they were planning.
Yeah,
and obviously time, and that's time that people are just basically sitting on their hands waiting, which gets very expensive very fast.
Oh, there he is.
So yeah, it's sad. The Euclid, I think that's how I'm pronouncing it.
That's pronouncing it. Yeah.
They just can't. But they're making their software open source. They're making it available to other organizations that might be able to help. But it's whether or not any of them will be able to pick up the slack remains to be seen. But although that they are shutting the door to their own company, the possibility still exists that this may still come up through a third party or multiple third parties, just because they have made they're making their software open source, and will be continuing to work on it, at least on their free time.
I have a feeling that we're not going to see something along these lines for a couple of years yet. I think the technology actually has to improve. I really do.
Yeah.
And it has to be cheaper, and we have to find, or there's going to be an entrepreneur who finds a way to make it work and to make it profitable. Other than the technology just has to improve. It'll happen. It'll happen, but I think it's just going to take time, which sucks because I really wanted my escort.
Oh,
I really wanted my escort. Also, and I realize it doesn't have anything to do with Star Trek Online, but it does have something to do with ship models, which is why I'm kind of posting this now. Earlier today, in Facebook, I'm going to go to pictures. Hold on, let me upload the pictures. I even have the photo of it. It's how proud I. Let me see where it is, and it's right over here. There it is. I'm uploading a picture to the chat room. Doug Drexler posted this on his Facebook page today. This is the final model and what's coming out from the Enterprise, or from the Starships collection from Eagle Moss, and it's the Enterprise J. It's so pretty.
Nice.
It's so pretty, you guys. I'm just so tickled about it. And Doug Drexler seems so excited about it. And I know that they had a lot of, it took a year for them plus to get this through, because he had to approve the models, the sculpts, everything that went with it. And that was just to create a molded model. I can't even imagine how, like you were saying, Mike, the technology in order to print something in a 3D fashion as opposed to something that's injection molded like this, or die cast.
Yeah, I mean, the molding or casting, I mean, that's been around for centuries. You know, that technology. I mean, they are able to scale that puppy up big time, because they've had so much time to perfect the process. But in terms of 3D printing, it's so new, and printers are they still have so far to go. Just in terms of speed, you know, that it's just not cost effective yet.
Yeah, I agree. Additional information on Star Trek Online, however, is that the Junior Officer Weekend is going on right now. It ends tomorrow, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weekend event, and they also merged it with the Academy particle scanning event.
Oh, they did.
So it's a twofer.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that is a permanent change or if it's just this weekend because it's, you know, the holiday season. But yeah, so take advantage of two events in one.
And speaking of holiday events, have you been playing anything else in the winter event? Nope.
I had a problem since the update.
Oh.
My character had the spins.
Oh.
So I would log in, the camera would just start spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get out of it. I ended up tweeting with Al, and he gave me the suggestion of taking out or unplugging my controller, which I don't use for Stow anyways, but some of the other games I play I do use it for that. But so I unplugged it and the spinning stopped. So it was my controller that was causing the problem.
Oh, how weird!
But it still took me 3 days to figure that out. I'm still just running the laps, you know, for the ship. I have not done the fishing yet. I don't know about the fishing yet, so I don't know. But that's the new biggie thing in the winter event. But.
Yeah, I don't know if it works like the fishing event does in Neverwinter. I'm assuming that it does, considering it's probably the same functionality. I've been playing a lot of Neverwinter lately, just because I've been having such a good time with it. And so I've been doing the winter event in that with one of my characters. And the fishing, I actually kind of like it because remember when the winter event, again, this is an assumption if it works the same way. I do not know if it does or not. But remember when the winter event in Star Trek Online first started and you were able to kind of dig through snow piles and just get stuff?
Yes, I loved that event.
That's kind of what the fishing's like.
Yeah, basically you smash in the ice, you pull your hand out and you have a fish, and it depends on the size of what happens and what you get, and you've got to put it down into a pile. That when you get the extremely big fish, it basically swallows you and you got to waddle over to it. It's so funny. I love it.
It's a little bit different than Neverwinter then, because I don't get eaten by fish, but I do get attacked by dead ship captains. So it's kind of the same, I guess, instead of being, but it allows you to kind of passively grind in a comfortable way, and you are able to earn.
It's the name of my next porn, Passively Grind.
Oh, it's so true. But it's a comfortable way to kind of just gain materials that allow you to buy what you want in from the vendor, from the winter vendor. So for me, you get, so there's like 4 or 5 different kinds of fish that you can get, and each fish is worth more than, so there's like the common, the uncommon, rare, and epic fish, and each one is worth a little bit more as far as in-game currency for that event. So I was able to get, I've only been playing it for like 3 or 4 days, and I've been able to just, like I said, comfortably sit there and fish while I do other things, and gain enough to get him a couple of scarves, and it's been fun. I enjoyed it.
Gettysburg 7 and Brandy Love in Passively Grind.
Oh my God, I just realized how awesome that would be. That would be so awesome.
God, Brandy Love.
I'm getting motion sickness.
Yeah,
just
you
by
are
watching the darn turntable pony thing. Oh man.
Here, I'll put up another picture for you. Let's see. Which one do we want? Which one do we want to put up? No, I'll take that one. That one makes me laugh. There. Oh, that's cute.
Right on.
All right. So, and then finally, Attack Wing, the preview for the Borg Sphere 4270 is available now. You can take a look at it. We'll keep that link in our chat room. Again, that's the card game, correct? This is the Attack Wing card game. But you can get the little models that go with it. Very cute.
Yeah.
We have a lot of general news.
What's new in the Star Trek universe? General news.
Holy crap. Pick one, Mike. Go for it. Which one do you think is going to be most important?
Well, one that I enjoyed was the Star Trek cast and Stephen Hawking explored the quantum realm in a new short film. That was pretty cool.
Oh, tell me about this. This is cool.
Zoe Saldana is watching, what's his name? Scotty's cat. And it's a Schrodinger. It's kind of like a cross between Schrodinger's cat and quantum wormholes. And, well, basically Zoe's babysitting the cat. The cat falls through a quantum hole or something and gets lost. And so she calls Stephen Hawking and to go help her get the cat back. And it's just funny, and it's educational because you're learning about quantum physics. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. I enjoyed it. So check it out.
That is really, really cute. I love it. There is also another article here that Mike has posted in our, he puts together this amazing list that I get to pull from. So, that Rod Roddenberry opens the Roddenberry Vault. The Roddenberry Vault was released this week. It was the 12-episode DVD or Blu-ray set of the 12 episodes of the original series, combined with the missing film that was found after Majel Roddenberry's death. And Rod had the key to the storage room, and they found hundreds of reels of film. So they're starting to splice that together with some of the original series, and you get to go through and see alternative camera takes, deleted scenes, things that we never knew existed, and it's really amazing. But I have to warn you that I saw a post from Denise Okuda on Facebook that the Roddenberry Vault is now sold out on Amazon.
Wow.
That's huge.
That is awesome.
Wonderful news. Congratulations to the Okudas and to Rod
I miss
Roddenberry.
Facebook.
What was that?
Nothing.
What?
Oh, yeah. Hey, have we talked about how some fuckhead fucked with Mike?
Oh, no.
I don't recall.
But we don't know.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say
We don't know which one.
I'm going to say whoever did it, you're a total scumbag.
No kidding. Our poor Mikey got reported for something he didn't do. They said
Yeah, I got suspended from Facebook.
I don't understand that.
Just like high school.
Seriously, right?
Seriously, the last time I was suspended from
Who
something, it was
else
high
do we
school.
know that acts like high school?
Just an assumption, but still.
That's right, and I'm going to make the assumption and say if it was them, you're an even lower form of scum than I believed you were, and come at me, bro.
Yeah,
Come
no
at me,
kidding.
you're so tough. Why do you go after those you know won't fight back? Because
Well,
you're a bitch. You're a punk-ass bitch or a bitch-ass punk. I can't figure out which.
I don't know. The reason that I was given from Facebook was either that I have multiple accounts, which is
not
untrue.
true.
I only have one account, and or I'm using a fake name, and that's also not true. I only have one name, and that's what is on my Facebook. So neither of those situations were correct, yet someone reported me for that situation, and as a result, I've been banned from Facebook. I think it's a 2-week ban.
Whoa.
They required me
Man.
to send them a copy of my ID, which I've done, and I'm still waiting for any kind of response.
Well, Terry, I'm not
So-
shocked by this because people who, well, I'm not going to get into it, but people I know who have posted anti-President Obama things and not anything more than, I think this policy is terrible. It should be have had gone through the same thing because people reported them as being like that.
Who did?
It's Facebook banned them because they said that they were violating the terms because they basically said something without cursing or anything, saying like, "I disagree with this policy." I got a 2-day for on International Holocaust Remembrance Day.
I
for
remember
posting
that.
pictures of the Holocaust.
I know. I have made my displeasure regarding Facebook's policies on banning and censorship pretty well known. I have
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And my problem here is the same problem I think that Nick that you have, and that is it's censorship. It's just it's censorship regardless of, and if you're hypersensitive to a female nipple or somebody disagreeing with you or bringing up the Holocaust or I'm sorry,
Remembering
get
the
over
Holocaust
yourself.
on Holocaust Remembrance Day.
I know. Because you were posting pictures that some sensitive ass little shit didn't want their little children seeing. And you wonder why we have such a problem
They
understanding
wanted
history.
a safe space. We had to. This is why now
I
in
agree.
colleges there's safe spaces, and a Yale professor said you didn't have to take your midterm because of the election results. Really? Is that going to work in the real world? I can't come to work because I'm just so distraught.
I know.
Oh my God, Nancy Pelosi is still alive.
I agree. I thoroughly
The plastic
agree.
hasn't eaten into her brain from all her
America is
injections.
not a safe place.
The world is not a safe place.
Well, that's it. You have to deal with the fact that not everybody's going to agree with you. You have to. You have to learn how to negotiate
drivers out
in
there.
social. What was that?
There's drivers out there that will give you the finger. You know how I know? Because I'm one of them.
Yeah, it just goes back to the whole thing where people want. What is ridiculous about the Facebook policy is that they feel like they have to police things. If you see something on Facebook and you don't like it, stop watching that person's feed, block them, move on. But
unfriend me, shit.
Unfriend them, whatever you have to do. But don't make the company censor you.
Well,
I mean,
Alan, that's
what's ridiculous.
That's the same mindset that, Howard Stern or Opie and Anthony are terrible. They shouldn't be on the radio. Well, there's a dial that you can.
Exactly.
But check this out, okay? They may not want to see what I post, but because of me not being able to be on Facebook at the moment, I cannot communicate with my friends. I cannot communicate with my family. I'm disabled. Social media is really the only real way I have to communicate with the outside world. So you have severely harmed me in this act.
Well,
and
welcome to the world of guilty until proved innocent.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, to whoever reported Mike, I wish 1,000. No, I really do. I wish you a disease.
Lupus. Lupus.
No.
I would love to see them get a disease where their eyeballs become honeycombed. Just because I think that would be cool.
That's weird.
Okay.
I know. and I hope that they get eye cancer and ear cancer, and they can't ever see or hear again. And then I hope that they get cancer of the genitals, and that they pass it on to whoever their cult leader is.
Oh,
That's oddly specific.
yeah.
I don't, but I just wish they would
do
stop
that, Janet.
fucking with me.
Yeah, I hope they boils upon your dog. That's pretty much it, Supreme Legate. That's kind of what it is. It's and assuming it was a man, we don't know. Could have been a woman. It's just it was. I think what bothers me the most about it is the same problem I have with any troll, and that is this amazingly immature way of dealing with life. They deal with things like a third grader would deal with things, that they don't lack the mental capacity in order to deal with reality and either walk away from something you don't like or deal with it like an adult and talk it out. I mean, seriously, your biggest tool is to act like a tool and to go, I'm going to report him to Facebook for something he didn't do. Like, oh, that'll get him. And seriously, truly,
It's the world of social media.
I am sorry
immature.
for derailing the show with my...
You're not. It's frustrating because, we love you. And we want to, and we get to talk to you here. We didn't get to talk to you all week.
And normally, you guys can't get me to shut up during the week.
That's not true. We love you. I just missed you. We do. I was going to say we've got a lot of links that we're not going to be getting to. The product news is long and happy and Christmas gifts galore. If you want the links, they'll be on our show notes. Book news that is coming out, I did want to touch on.
Tell me a Star Trek story. Book news.
Mirror Universe IDW is coming out.
TNG.
I know.
TNG Mirror Universe.
TNG Mirror. Did you see the Picard?
Yeah, sleeveless.
Looking all
he reminds
butch.
me of like,
God. The Picard looking all butch. It's so fun.
Borg Data. Yeah. This looks like, and it's for free comic book day. That's what they're giving away for free comic book day. So,
but did you notice who the artist was?
I think I did.
It's J.K. Woodward.
Yep.
It's J.K. Woodward.
Totally awesome.
He must have had so much fun painting Butch Picard.
He must have attended one of my high school reunions.
Spock getting assimilated by the Borg is another one that's coming out.
Yep.
A Star Trek, the Green Lantern crossover, crossovers with the Kelvin timeline, and then the Star Trek Cats book, which I found out about through Dayton Ward this week when he was talking to Marion Cordry at CBS.
Nice.
I had no idea that this was coming out. It's too cute.
It's Star Trek. It's cats. Hey, what's not to love?
What's not to love, right?
Convention news.
And also, the first 30 guests for the next Star Trek convention have been announced. You can head over to StarTrek.com or Creation Entertainment, CreationENT.com, and find out who all of those are. It's pretty much the main gang that we knew about. We do know that they're going to be focusing on the 30th anniversary of TNG. But it's William Shatner, Nichelle Nichols, Jonathan Frakes, Gates McFadden, Marina Sirtis, John Delancey, Michael Dorn, David Warner, Terry Farrell, Nana Visitor, Connor Trenier, Nicole DeBoer, Robert Picardo, Ethan Phillips, like lots of people, Vaughn Armstrong, Daniel Davis, looking through. So it's and Bob Gunton. Oh, he is who did he his captains? What was his name? Oh my God, he kind of played an asshole. He was great. You can head over there. I think we're going to kind of tie up the show pretty early today.
Really quick. I have one piece of technology news I want to kind of draw attention to.
Hey, I saw that on Star Trek. Technology news.
BMW's new Holo Active touchscreen is Star Trek tech for your car. This is, I guess in the past it's kind of old hat, but now where they kind of like do a little projection on your windshield and you can kind of, get like a heads up display from that. This is supposed to be an interactive control panel, and it's not. It doesn't use your windscreen or windshield. It's actually like kind of floating in front of where your devices are. and it has haptic. That means you can go over and put your finger right where one of the buttons should be, and you can actually feel that you clicked something. It uses a few months ago. There was an article that we had shared where they had
about the
created a
tiny
little
little
holographic
like
fairy.
the tiny little electric shock that you get when you touch a hologram.
Yes.
Holy crap!
This BMW has that kind of technology built into their holographic control panel for their cars.
Shit. That's cool. Okay, that's cool.
Yes.
Really, really amazing.
I wanted to draw attention to that because this is
You're getting to the point where the holodeck might actually.
it uses cameras to see where your fingers are displayed or are positioned, so it knows what kind of where what your intentions are, right? And then you get that little feedback that you've actually come in contact with something because it uses a little laser to like burn your fingertip.
Oh shit.
That is totally awesome.
That's really amazing. And the link to that article will be in our show notes, everybody, along with all of the other technology news that Mike has put in there.
So
I did want to touch on talking to everybody in the room while we have the opportunity, especially since we're all together. We're going to be taking the next 2 weekends off because our shows are on Sundays, and Christmas and New Year's also fall on Sundays this year. So we're going to take a winter break. And I wanted to say thank you to everybody that I do this show with. Nick, I know, and everybody, and I know it hasn't been an easy year, and I know that it hasn't been for anybody. And I know that life changes have been kind of crazy. And I just wanted to say thank you. I love you guys very, very much. And I really wanted to know, do you have plans for your winter break? Nick?
Sex.
Sweet. Miss Janet?
Make latkes and not burn down the house.
Well,
actually,
you make potato latkes?
Potato latkes. It'd probably be sweet potato. Mr. Jespa is off from the 22nd of December through the 2nd of January, although he's going to New York in the middle there. But yeah, so we'll have lots of time together. So yay. And so that'll be fun.
So in other words, sex.
And potato latkes, baby.
Oh my God, that sounds so amazing.
Put your hands together.
And the electric menorah, of course.
Mikey, what do you do?
Come on, baby, light my menorah.
I got nothing.
You got nothing. Oh, you've got a big ass family you're going to be spending Christmas with, I'm sure.
Yeah, they'll be popping in and out.
Popping in and out like genies.
Well, Alan and I are going to spend a quiet Christmas here at home.
Sex.
Potato latkes. Now I'm going to be.
Potato latkes.
I'll actually make them the Irish way.
And sex.
I'll make them the Irish way, which is the shredded with the egg and the yummy.
Actually, very exciting is we're going to be visited by the Ferris anomaly.
Yes.
Yes, I'm so jealous.
The Ferris
So
anomaly.
Sex.
So they're the ghosts of Christmas past and present? Is that it?
Speaking of sex.
They're coming out for our anniversary, which is New Year's Eve.
Ever
Send my
since I
love
had to
to
show
them
the
and-
cops where Jim touched me on the doll, you know.
And happy anniversary if I don't get
Thank
the chance to
you.
say.
Yes, happy anniversary to you.
Thank
That's
you.
true. Happy anniversary.
It'll be
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Remember that from the Flintstones?
Yes.
Yeah, my husband put that on my wall yesterday because it's yesterday was the 28th anniversary of the day we had met.
Aw.
Yeah,
Wow, is he sucking up?
he's a good person. He's a good person.
Yeah.
we're all
What
kite
did he do wrong that he's sucking up like?
Yeah, right? What's he trying to get out of?
He knows I'm a mean girl.
Well, and I have a couple of ideas with regards to what we can do for next year's kind of focus. And I
Sex.
think yes, sex and the next generation. How's that? But the next generation, seeing as though we're going to be celebrating its 30th anniversary next year, if you've got ideas on what you think we should be talking about with regards to the next generation, still send them in at hosts@gntshow.com. And any other ideas you have, you can either send us an email or even drop a voicemail by clicking on heading to gntshow.com, and over on the right hand side you'll see a little thing that says send a voicemail. You can actually record a question or send us an Ask Dayton. The guy's been busy as shit, but we'll try to get one into you. And we'll see you guys next year for episode 264. Until then, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy New
and
Year.
Happy New Year. And we'll see you in 2017 after we kill and bury 2016. Love you all. Live long and prosper.
Blah.
Happy Hanukkah. Thanks for joining us. See you next year.
Go Hawks.
Steve.
Goodbye, everyone.
G&T 263, December 18th, 2016 for Michael Hinman. Live long and prosper. Have a jolly Christmas. And remember, tribbles are not gerbils. Joe Lonfro.
Music for the GNT show is provided by 5-Year Mission, Enterprise Blues Band, Warp 11, Andrew Allen, and Greth Thor. The GNT show is a BLB production.
Move ahead, walk back to 10. Put a mini skirt on my yo man. Represent the human race. And we make space a happy place. To boldly go where no man's gone before. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G community. Gonna travel to new worlds. Beam on down and meet some green girls. Gonna see what we can see. A fancy-free galaxy. To boldly go where no man's gone before. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G community. Come and take a tour with me. There'll be no cons or Kobayashi. Gonna travel to the end and make new friends with aliens. To boldly go where no man's gone before. Space happy. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G community. To boldly go where no man's gone before. Space happy. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G